down then, but that's all in the past tense. So I can't stop shit till I'm top 10, and I'm not 10. I'm so in love with the process.
Hey, what's up, everyone? This is a We Make Shit Happen podcast. My name is Ernesto, CEO of RedSkull Fitness. I'm here with...
My name is Pam. Hi, everyone.
My name is Max.
My name is Michelle.
So we're all family. This is my wife, Pamela. This is my brother, Max. And this is my sister-in-law, Michelle. So this is the first official podcast that we're doing today. We're extremely excited. Don't look at me.
We are extremely excited that we have the pleasure and honor to interview the Mr. RedSkull Fitness.
Hell yeah. I feel flattered. A little applause for me.
Standing ovation.
So I just want to give you guys a little bit of a background on what this is. So this is the We Make Shit Happen project. To some extent, we're going to be recording a bunch of different topics. First phase, we're focusing more on business. We're going to bring a lot of people to this podcast to make shit happen. And that's literally our name. So we're going to be making shit happen. We're going to help you, break those barriers. If you have anything that's stopping you and you feel like you can't get to where you want to, we're going to bring people that have been in your shoes before, and they're going to help you make shit happen. Like, it's going to be insane. It's going to be pretty cool, and you're going to learn a lot of things. And so are we. That's the main reason why we're here. We want to network and meet a lot of cool people like myself.
Exactly.
No, I'm definitely super excited too. I'm just so excited. Like everything, we're finally here. Like this whole project we've been working on for 2 years.
Like 2 years.
Trying to start. I know. I mean, it's been a back and forth thing. But so, what made you officially do today? Is the podcast?
Yeah. So, I guess the main thing is we like you said, we've been working on this for like 4 years. Not 4 years. 2 years. Trying to get everything to where we feel comfortable, having an atmosphere where we can actually record. And I guess it was more like the space. We didn't have the space, first of all. We recently opened another facility here in
Tell us a little bit. Tell them about us. I know.
Before I get into that, like we've been doing so many changes, and it's like we couldn't find the right time to actually do the full podcast. So right now it feels like the perfect time. We have a little bit more time on our hands to do this project, and we finally got everything. As you guys can see, not sure if you can see the background or not, but we have a full mural right here that says "We Make Shit Happen." We have a custom desk right here. We got everything, full mics, headphones, the mixer, everything ready, camera. So that's why it took so long. Of course, the name and everything. It was just a mix of things.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
And I think what's cooler than everything is we're literally sitting inside of the second facility.
Yeah.
Like how insane is that? And just to get started, I think one of the most incredible things about your story is how you started, and how I know I'm gonna cry. No, I'm gonna cry.
Hormones be like.
But so why don't you tell us a little bit about how you started? And I'm gonna do a little throwback for some people that have been following the gym for a while. How did you start Mayhem Fitness?
Well, I guess there's more to the story on how we started, but I'll just give you a little bit more before we started.
Okay.
So I guess I started getting interested in I guess the fitness industry to some degree, because when I was in high school, there was literally no gyms around the area where we lived.
Where'd you go to high school?
Horizon High School.
In El Paso.
In El Paso, Texas. For those who don't know where that is, Horizon City.
It was actually just named the safest city.
I don't know how, with all those hijacking we have.
But it was named the safest city.
Yeah,
so
I think it's pretty safe. I love the city. I love El Paso. So, I'm glad we're doing business here. We stayed in El Paso, and it's been beautiful. We know, I guess, since we're from here, we know a lot more people than if we were at another city. And it's just great to do business here. But, I went to Horizon, like I said, when we were growing up there was literally nothing around. It was kind of like a desert. a house in the middle of nowhere and a school in the middle of nowhere. There was literally no restaurants, no nothing, just like one gas station and a few.
No Walmart.
No Walmart.
All of the fancy bougie stuff that's out there right now.
No McDonald's, none of that. So I don't even think there was a Walgreens.
What?
Silver Streak was on.
Oh yeah,
Silver
You're
Street.
right.
yeah,
Dad
I was
used
still
to take
Yeah.
us Silver Street.
yeah. That's how long we're going back. Silver Streak was around. So yeah, there was nothing around. And when I was in sports in school, it was like the gym, they would close it early, so we couldn't get a full workout. It was kind of like you could only get like a few reps in, like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and then they would kick you out. So it was always a struggle for me going to the gym, because it was like like I said, there was nothing around. So that's kind of like what sparked that in my brain. I was like, I feel like I need to do something about this. Even when I was younger, like I said, I never had the vision for it. I knew that something had to be done, even
Because
at
at
that
this
early
age, you were like 15, 16 years old, right? You were
Yeah.
like a junior, sophomore in high school.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I was like a junior, sophomore, junior when I started thinking about it. But like I said, it was nothing set in stone, and I never imagined, okay, we're gonna get into the business industry. It was just kind of like a thought in my mind.
Does your family, like, do you come from a business? Or anyone around you, like, was there anyone around you influencing you in any way to actually go the full throttle? Because I think it definitely matters who you surround yourself with. So did you have that growing up?
I mean, my family, as my brother knows here, and you both have known my family, we don't come from a business background. Pretty much my entire family, they were, I guess I would say, working class. Nobody really had a business, but we never had that, I guess, that environment around us. So it was kind of like, it was always a thought in my mind, but it was never like, oh, I'm going to ask this person for advice and see how we do it. Like, we never had that. Or at least, yeah, when I was younger, we never had that around us. Like I said, we had loving parents and everything, but in that aspect of business, that wasn't there. So it was just more of a thought that I had. I was like, oh, I wish there was a gym, but it was never like, I want to open a gym.
Yeah, it was like, I need to get these gains.
I need to get these gains, make sure that 20 minutes wasn't enough for me, so I needed a few hours in the gym. And
Okay. Like 3 days.
like 3 days. And I was like, well, might as well. But yeah, like I said, there was nothing around, so that sparked something in my brain. And then we I started getting a bunch of jobs. Like, I literally worked. That's something that we always laugh about. Like, I feel like I've had close to like 20. I had like close to like 20 job experiences, I guess, before 19 or 20.
Every 2 months.
Literally, like every 2 months, I would move from company to company, and it wasn't. I would consider myself, I was a really good employee. I would always do everything on time. I was responsible. I would show up. I was good at what I would do at the time.
But
It was just, I don't know, I couldn't find myself. It was so weird. Like, I would have a job for like 2 months, 3, and then I think the longest I kept a job was for like 6 months.
world record.
World record. I'm not going to say any names, but yeah, it was like 6 months.
So I guess for the listeners, give us an example of all the different jobs that you actually had. Like, what was like the full spectrum of, I know you worked at Home Depot in the lumber department.
Yeah, I worked at Home Depot for a while in the lumber department. I worked at a few restaurants. I was a dishwasher for a while. I was a cook, server, busboy.
Radio Shack King.
Oh, I worked at Radio Shack. That's
Another
a throwback.
throwback.
Yeah, Radio Shack. No longer around, but I worked there selling phones, and it's funny because you would think, oh, you work at Radio Shack selling radio stuff, but it was actually more than that. But I was, like I said, I was good.
But you guys aren't ready for that conversation.
You're not ready for that conversation yet. But yeah, like I said, it was a bunch of different things that I would do. Like I said, Radio Shack. I worked at a place where we would clean the trash on the street. So that was a good experience too. I also worked at a place where we would fix the railing on the side of the street.
I remember that.
Yeah, where cars usually like have accidents and stuff, we would change that. I worked construction for a while, painting.
Odessa.
I went to Odessa. Well, I'll get into that one right in a little bit. But I did painting, construction, carpet cleaning for restaurants, floor cleaning. I did, what else did I do? I was a security guard. I worked at a buffet. First, I don't know if you guys remember that restaurant.
Another throwback. They
Yeah.
just took it down.
Yeah, I would wash dishes there.
You cleaned roofs.
I would clean roofs. I would clean like the extraction systems of the restaurants. I was there for like 7 months.
And didn't you work at a gym?
Yes. So
And then you got that.
so I worked at a gym. I'm not gonna say any names, but I worked at another gym. Well, actually, before I worked at, no, did I start working? I don't know.
It was like I think it wasn't it one like your first or second job out
Yeah.
of high school?
Yeah.
Or within high school?
Well, when I was in high school, I had a job at a gym when I was like, I think I was 14 or 15.
You're 15.
I was 15 years old working at a gym. I worked there for like 3 months, I think. And it was great because, of course, like I mentioned earlier, we didn't have any gyms around our area. So working at a gym kind of like allowed me to get a workout in and stuff. And I didn't really have a lot of money to pay a membership and stuff. So that kind of like helped me a lot. So I worked at that gym when I was like I said, younger. And then funny enough, I was like, all my friends in high school, like everyone started graduating and everyone started, this was when like the oil boom was going on. For those of you that are not from El Paso, like from Texas, there was an oil boom back when I was younger. And I don't know how long the oil boom has been for, but
Everybody wanted to work
Yeah,
in the
everyone.
oil field.
Yeah.
And I think one thing to highlight is because we were, like you called it, the working class, nobody really around us had any businesses or had succeeded in a way that you could say like, oh, okay, I'm going to go do that, right? It was men went to the oil field and then, it was like...
Or got their like CDL.
got their CDL to go work as a truck driver. And it's just, I feel like it was a really common thing for people to do that, at least in our class.
Yeah. I don't know how, I guess right now it's a little bit more popular, but when we were, I guess, growing up and like kind of like...
So we're talking about like 2011.
Yeah,
when
like
we
20,
graduated.
yeah, like 10 years, 11 years ago. It was kind of like, it was like nobody had been there. That was
Damn, we're not actually that far apart. We're like 3.5 years apart.
Yeah.
Me and my sister.
But still.
Yeah. It's still a long time, 11 years.
Damn.
Yeah, feels like yesterday, but
Does it?
yeah. All right.
My back doesn't think so. But
But yeah, I was like, everyone wanted to go over there to make money, and everyone was like, oh, if you go to the oil field, you'll make all this money, blah, blah, blah. So I ended up going for like my first day. I was going to work in an actual rig, like, pulling.
But tell them how long you lasted.
So I only lasted a day.
Not even a day. It was like 10 hours.
Yeah. I got there, like, when they hired me, it was like, they pitched it to me like super perfect. You're going to have all this, blah, blah, blah. You're going to be getting paid X amount per hour. And it was just kind of like, like I really, really wanted to go there because everyone was like, oh, you're going to make all this money. So once I got there, I realized they pay you a lot of money because it sucks. Like the actual job itself, it wasn't cool. And then they put me in a trailer with like 16 people, only one restroom. And it was like, nah, I was like 19 years old.
Yeah. And I mean, props to the people who can do it. But I think the thing is, you were 19 at that time.
Yeah, I was so young that like I said from the beginning, like I was doing so many things at once that I didn't really know what I wanted. And I was just kind of like picking everything, trying to find myself. And once I got there, I was like, no, you know what? This is not for me. So I decided to leave. Like I said, not even a full.
So was that like your last straw, and then after that you were like, F that, like I'm gonna open a gym? Or like what led you to want to open the gym?
So
I think after that you still drove.
Oh yeah,
for
so
CDO, no?
So after that, when I came back, I actually I started working as a security guard. And then a friend of mine, he got a CDL to drive, like the 18-wheelers, and he said that it was like they were paying him pretty good to go to the oil field. So I was like, I'm gonna give this thing a shot one more time.
Round two.
And And I got my CDL at 20 years old or 19.
You're 20?
You were 20.
I was 20. Not anymore.
I was 20.
I wish. So I got my CDL, and that's when I left. And I went to like, I was there for like 3 months. And then again, all my friends, they were, you know, having the time of their life in college and all this stuff, and their city with their parents and stuff. And I was stuck in, actually, when I was driving, I lived inside not inside, I lived in the truck, but I lived at a truck stop for like the 2 months that I was there, or 3. So that wasn't, it wasn't really like, they were paying me pretty good, but at the end of the day, I was like, I'm 19, living at a truck stop. This is not what I want. Again, nothing against the people that like doing that. It's just, for me, that wasn't working, and I needed to do something else, just like all the previous jobs that I had.
So at this point, oh, sorry, go ahead.
So for anybody that's 19, around that age, and wants to do a CDL, what's one thing that you would just tell them, don't go because of this?
Well, the thing is that everyone likes different things, right? I mean, I can't really say don't do it, because there's going to be some people that are going to like that. But what I can say is,
Worst experience.
what I would say is, if you're going to do it, make sure you really, really want to do it. Because you spend all this money getting your CDL, and then you leave, and then, at least in my experience, for me to quit in like 2-3 months, it wasn't really, the payout wasn't, it didn't equal out what I had to pay for the license, I guess.
And I think at that point, so you came back a second time, right? At this point, you're 20 years old. Did you save any money?
No. So that was the thing. Like, I was getting paid pretty good, and I was like, okay. Before leaving, I was thinking like, I'm gonna start saving up some money, and I ended up just, every time I would come back, I would be gone for like 2-3 weeks. Come back, spend it all, go out to drink, go out to, you know, parties and family, and buy stuff, and I just would spend all my money. So I ended up leaving with 0, and I came back with like $10 to my name. So it wasn't. That's
too much.
That's too much. That was enough to open the gym.
So you came back, right? So at this point, you're 20 years old. And then I clearly remember the day you called me and said, I think I'm going to open a gym.
So, yes. So I came back from like driving over there for like the 2-3 months that I said. And then I got another job for like 6 months, cleaning the restroom. I mean, the restaurant
The hood.
extraction systems, yes. So I was there for like 6 months. The company closed down, and the company that I was working for closed down, and I really had nothing going on. I was like, I didn't know what to do anymore, because I was like, I've already had jobs at restaurants, the oil field, construction, and nothing was like kind of like sticking to me. And I didn't want to do the same thing again, because I knew I was going to fail at it, just because I wasn't going to like it. So I just started thinking, I was like, what's one thing that I kind of like enjoyed growing up, or what's one thing that I would see myself doing for a long time? And I just couldn't figure it out. And then I guess I just started thinking back, and the gym was what made more sense than anything. And I feel like I knew a little bit more about gyms, because like growing up, you know, like I was in sports and stuff, and we would always lift weights. So I kind of knew the machines, the names and stuff. So for me, it was like, yeah, probably that's the best business to get into.
Yeah.
So.
And then you started, you know, socializing it. So I think that's one of the scariest points. And I think that's something I've always admired in you, is you commit to something and then you figure it out later. Right?
Yeah. Which I don't recommend you do. It doesn't work out all the time.
But you make shit happen.
But we make shit happen here. So we made it happen, yeah.
So you said, I'm going to open a gym.
So yeah, so I finally decided, you know what, I'm going to open up a gym, and let's see where this takes us. I didn't open up, well, like I said, I didn't have any money. So luckily, my grandpa, he passed away already, but he... R.I.P. to my grandpa, yeah. He opened up some credit... Well, I opened up 2 credit cards for me. And they were, I think, like $3,000 each. And then I guess that's when I said, you know what? Let's just do it out. We'll see what I can buy with that. And yeah, I started buying some equipment. I bought some barbells, like 3 barbells. Everything was from like Academy. I didn't have any like commercial equipment.
Nothing like you do right now.
No, nothing like I do.
See,
right now.
I don't remember any of that
Yeah.
at all. I think we were like 13, 14 when you opened.
You guys were still in
15.
diapers. But you finally opened at 21, right? But how did the gym start? I think a lot of people could have the conception that you opened the way that the gyms look today.
Yeah.
But that's not the case.
That is not.
What exactly did you start with? And what was that critical point that you said, now I can grow it into what it is? Like, what happened between there's a 3,000 square foot or 5,000 square foot facility to 2 gyms
Yeah.
with commercial equipment?
Yeah. Well, like I said, we opened up with literally no money at all. It was like we made some platforms ourselves. We made some medicine balls with some rocks and stuff.
Our medicine balls were crazy.
That was rough.
Yeah.
Max, tell them about the medicine balls.
Oh no. Our medicine balls, I remember we went to Walmart. We were looking at medicine balls and they were a little bit too expensive for our budget. So we went around the corner and we saw some basketballs. So we were like, we're handyman. So we just cut them open, put some rocks in it, weighed them, and just taped them around. And that was our medicine balls. When people would slam their faces, that was...
Yeah. It was definitely a hazard. But yeah.
Serious concussion.
Yeah,
But don't come for me.
Yeah, we had a lot of people that, they were doing medicine balls and they would.
It was crazy.
I guess it would slip through their hands and they would hit their face. But yeah, we did like some 20-pound medicine balls with rocks. Well, they weren't medicine balls; they were like basketballs with rocks. We did 10
That
pounds.
makes me emotional.
Yeah.
TBH.
By the way, she's pregnant, so she's going to cry a lot.
By the way. Yeah. So yeah, it was like 10, 25 pounds, 15, whatever. We taped them up, and then as far as
by the way,
oh yeah, red tape.
red tape.
Yeah. Duct tape.
I remember them being gray.
Yeah, they're great.
We did red first and then gray
Oh.
to cover up the holes.
Yeah. The holes that were slipping through.
So like I'm telling you guys, we didn't have any money at all. Like at all. No money.
I
So-
think you only had enough money for 1 month worth of rent.
Oh, so that's another thing. Like I said, I had 2 credit cards, $3,000 each. And I literally maxed them out. And then I had enough in my bank account to pay 1 month rent. And that's it. Literally, I had no money to my name. I was like, this has to work. There's no other way around it. And if it fails, well,
We all going down.
we're all go bankrupt. Yeah. So, and then the name came about. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the Allstate commercials where there's a car driving, and then there's a guy that gets on the car and he's like, "Stay away from mayhem," and then he crashes. So that's why that's how the name came about. I always liked that name, like mayhem, and it was like, okay, this name sounds pretty cool. So that's the reason why we named the gym Mayhem.
And actually, that's why I wore this sweater. So that I can show off
Oh yeah.
my logo. So Mayhem Fitness, that's what it was called before.
Mayhem. So yeah, like I said, we didn't have any machines. We didn't have anything. I think we had like no dumbbells. Like I think we only had like a pair of 5. I think we had a set from 5 pounds to like 35 pounds, 250.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was only 1 pair.
You had bikes.
I had bikes. I didn't have matting. It was just the actual concrete.
I remember that actually, that what you had was those like kids play mats.
Yes.
The colorful ones that come together.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like the ones for like crawling babies.
Yeah. So we had that, and I mean,
That was
like
the
I said,
gym.
we had to make it happen somehow, and yeah.
So you
crazy
literally committed,
Yeah.
and then you figured it out.
And that's the thing, like, I guess I would say for anybody that's trying to open up their own business is like, you have to fully commit. There's really no halfway point in anything you do. Like if you're gonna commit to a business, I mean, there's a lot more to the business side, right? But it's like if you're gonna commit to it, fully commit, and there's really no no other way out. Like either you do it or you don't, because it can get scary pretty quickly.
And I think one of the main things to highlight also is you believed in yourself
Yeah.
more than anybody believed in yourself. Like, I mean, in yourself, in you,
Yeah.
right? So you,
You're your biggest supporter.
yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, of course, my family, of course, you guys were always supportive and everything, but I think that's one thing that has helped a lot is that I never doubted the things that I could do. Since I've had so many different jobs, it was like, this is gonna be super easy for me because I already kind of know what to do and stuff. So actually, the gym started as a personal training studio. We were gonna train people, and that's
You were training people.
I was training people, yeah, and I was like, okay, well,
No certification.
no certification, no nothing. Thank you for sharing that information.
Just saying that.
Thanks for snitching.
So yeah, so that's how we're like, okay, we're just gonna train people and go from there.
So, RedSkull Fitness was a personal training studio before.
Mayhem Fitness was a personal training studio.
Mayhem Fitness was a personal training studio. How did it turn into an open gym?
So I guess just like anything, as you start, growing as a business or even as a person, you start to realize what you like and what you don't like, and that's kind of like where we started realizing what was working for us, what wasn't, and where we actually started analyzing the business a little bit more. So it all started as a hobby, and then we were doing it as a hobby more than anything for like, I don't know, 6-7 months. And then that's when we realized, okay, this is more than a hobby, and we need to actually start planning how we're going to run the business. So that's when it turned from personal training to where we like, okay, we had a little bit more money, and we expanded the gym. We had more money to buy equipment and stuff, and that's when it turned into like an open gym area.
Hold on, I have one question. So it was also because other gyms started opening. So talk about that a little bit, right? Like how has competition influenced you into what you've become? Like, because I know a lot of people, sometimes they open businesses that they'll say there's too many. Is
Yeah.
there ever what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, of course, there's always going to be people trying to open up the same type of business that you're in. And that's not because they're copying you. It's just somebody has the same dream that you do, or the same, I'm already pissed. Just kidding.
That's funny.
Somebody has the same vision that you do. And I mean, it's common that people are going to open up the same business.
Yeah, but I think it's about how, like, everybody runs it differently and they want to have a different process. So obviously each gym has been successful in their own way.
Yeah.
So I guess which is the unique thing about opening the same business but running it differently.
Yeah, and the thing as far as competition, like at first, I guess when I first started, when I was like very, very early on the business, competition felt like I was a victim. It's like, oh man, like somebody's opening next to us. I'm the victim. Why does this happen to me? Why can't I grow my business before somebody else comes in? And playing the victim card never works.
We've come to love it now.
Yeah. We love competition.
Love.
So what's up?
Love.
Love competition.
So what's good?
And the reason why I say that is because competition makes you better, makes you want to be better than others. And it's healthy competition, right? Like it's, at least in my experience, I've never had unhealthy competition. So yeah, I always like when there's competition, you always want to do better in your business. So it pushes you to do more. And that's where you got to take advantage. When you have that fire inside of you saying, I can't let somebody else take my business, that's where you push through. But if you don't do that, that's when businesses fail. That's when I see some people failing, is because like they just gave up or they couldn't keep up with the competition. But you have to make it work. I'm not saying it. This is not about money. This is about having a vision and pushing through those barriers. Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Especially when like blood, sweat, and tears have come to the facilities. It's
Yeah, like You always
You guys are the true definition.
literally.
Of
Literally.
blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah,
Max sweat more than anything.
Yeah.
Max sweats in the
Little too
winter.
much. Right now, I have the fan pointed at me.
He sweats a lot. Like literally,
Yeah.
I'm
right.
surprised he's not sweating.
I
right
know,
now.
Max. I'm sweating.
I'm not sweating. But what's crazy is like I don't know anybody as hardworking as myself. I'm just kidding. As you two, like literally, I could ask Max or Neto right now to build me a mansion, and they would not know what they're doing as long as they have like instructions. Like they would get it done.
Emphasis on that. We don't know what we're doing.
Most of the time,
Most
we
of
don't
the
know what we're doing.
So Neto, you were 21 when you first started. Did you know what you were doing?
No,
That's
I
a
had
good question.
Yeah. So I started
No.
the gym when I was 21, and I had zero experience running any type of business. I didn't know anything. I didn't know the law. I mean, the law of business. I didn't know the paperwork that you had to go through to open up a business. I literally had no clue on anything. Like Pam said right now, and like you guys had, I mean, as you guys know, we figure out things on the fly, which is, again, not the best advice that I would
0 out of 10 recommend.
at all. But like, hey, when you want something, you gotta go for it. There's nothing else to it. Like, you gotta knuckle up and push through, no matter what it is. You just gotta push through, and no matter who doesn't believe in you, no matter how many barriers there's on the way, you just gotta literally break through everything and
make shit
and
happen.
make shit happen. Literally, that's
How
the best
did you
way.
do it though? Like, who taught you then? Was everything perfect from the start? Where did that confidence come from of, I'm going to start hiring people. I'm going to do this.
So
I'm going to get this loan. I'm going to buy this equipment. I'm going to bring my brother in from high school
yeah.
to, where did that all come from?
So, like I said, when we started, it was just pretty much myself at the beginning. My brother helped me to build pretty much the whole gym. He did start working at the gym right away. I can't remember. Yeah, right away. So we were both working right away. I wasn't really. So I lived at home. Like I said, I was 21. I lived with my mom. So I didn't really have any bills to pay other than my car, my phone, and the bills that I would help my mom with.
And my girl.
And my girl.
And my boo.
But other than that, like there was literally no other bills that I was paying. So I was like, it doesn't matter if I don't pay myself. I just gotta make this happen. So I guess the first thing that I started worrying about is my brother's over here helping me out with everything. How am I gonna pay him? So I was kind of like the first motivation after like opening. It was like, oh
Tear.
shit. Yeah, I was like,
real cute.
That is really cute.
I was like, there's no way he's putting sweat, blood, and tears into this, and I'm gonna let him down. So I was like, nah, I need to push through whatever is on the way. And yeah, so that was kind of like the starting motivation of it. And then everyone else in the family started coming into play. Even Roman right here on the other side, consider him family too. So everyone's like,
Roman, you need to cry right now.
yeah, everyone's pretty much my whole close circle, in some way or another, works for the gym, and I gotta make shit happen for them. That's the only thing. That's the main thing motivating me. Pretty much everyone's involved in the gym some way or another, and it's kind of like how everything fired up inside of me, and I was like, nah, no matter what, we're gonna make shit happen. Yeah,
We're too deep in now to let everybody down.
to
my
quit.
dude.
Yeah,
And too
can't
deep,
quit.
like Drake said.
to quit. Yeah.
There's a story about, I think it's two farmers, and they had a cow or something like that. And then they killed the cow.
Okay.
And they didn't have any more food. So then they
Who?
bought a chicken, or I don't know what the story is, but the point is, like, what it gets to is when they cut all of your fountains, or, you know, fountains of money, of whatever it is, then you really only have that one thing going on. So it kind of sounds like that's what happened to you, right? There was nothing else to lose. There was nothing else happening.
Yeah.
Damn.
And you had to go full blast, full speed into
Yeah.
this project.
Honestly, there's a quote that always stuck to me in my heart.
The farmer.
The farmer. No, for real. The quote that always stuck in my mind and in my heart, it was like, there's no such thing as a person that doesn't have anything to lose, because you're literally Like somebody that has nothing to lose isn't scared of anything. So for me, I wasn't scared of losing money because first of all, it wasn't even my money. It was a credit card. It was, of course, my grandpa's, but like it was something that I could pay off later. So I didn't really have anything else to lose. It's not like if the business closed, I was going to lose my house or anything. So I literally had nothing to lose but my pride. And I was like, I'm not going to let my pride get in the way. I'm going to push through it. Doesn't matter if I don't have money for a whole year, 2 years, 3 years. I don't care. I'm here to make shit happen. So yeah.
Talking about
That's real.
That is real. Yeah.
talking about pride, it's been crushed a lot of times when we started. When we started, it was nobody believed in the vision, you know?
Yeah.
The vision that we had.
So yeah. And I want to touch a little bit on that is like, of course, again, my close circle believed in me. And that's something that I'm always going to be thankful for. Like you guys always believed in me and didn't really question much. You guys just said, all right, you guys you're going to open this. Yeah. Well, let me help you out. So I'm always going to be grateful for that. But, having the vision is always like, some people think, oh, well, that's just a vision. Like you're dreaming, you're never going to get here. Like that's too hard. Are you like, you don't have money to do this, blah, blah, blah. But it's kind of like you have to put that aside and say, okay, well, today I don't have money. Tomorrow, who knows?
You never know.
Who knows?
So I guess now talking about, well, we were throwback, but now that you've made it this far, as of right now, like back then you had all these issues. Now that the business is good, we have 2 locations. What is your biggest challenge right now? Already established, and how are you tackling it?
So, I mean, of course, we have a bunch of different challenges in the business. I mean, everything from the outside might seem perfect, right? Like, oh, we're growing, opening gyms here and there, but like, there's a lot of challenges. I guess the biggest challenge for me personally today is how do I expand the fastest? And it's kind of like, we already have a formula. We already know what we're like, how to open a 3rd facility, 4th, 5th. It's just like a matter of getting in that rhythm of opening locations every X amount of months. Right now, like it took us 8 years to open our 2nd location, and we're on track to open our 3rd one in months. So it's kind of like, how do we make that process faster? So that's kind of like the biggest challenge that I have right now. And how am I tackling it? Asking questions. There's no such thing as like a dumb question. Like you're always going to ask questions, and I'm just asking everyone that I know, like, how do I do this? How do I do that? I listen to a bunch of podcasts, videos, Google. Like literally I'm at 3-4 a.m. looking at properties. It's insane. Like I mean, it's not that I consider myself special or anything, not by any means, but like my brain, the way I think is like, it's always working. I'm always trying to look for the next opportunity. And doesn't matter what time of the day it is, I could never turn it off. It's just like constantly going. So I guess that's how I tackle that challenge. Yeah.
And I think that's a really good thing, that it just never turns off.
Never.
We're literally working out, making a cookout, swimming. We could be underwater and we'll be talking
You
about...
swim?
Yeah, actually, marathon.
Yeah.
We could be doing whatever, and your brain just keeps on going. There's always something coming up about the facility, or what can we do to improve it? What can we do to make it better?
And honestly, like to some people that might be annoying, like, oh, this guy's always talking about the gym. Not about myself, like business and stuff. But if you find it annoying, then you can be in my circle. That's what
Bye,
I say.
Felicia.
But yeah, not to sound arrogant or anything, but like that's what you got to do sometimes. You got to separate yourself from those people that don't push you to be better, and you just got to be with the ones that are actually like, you're right, like let's do this and let's do that, and try to make the people around you better. So like I said, all the people around me, my close circle, are with me, and if it benefits me, it benefits them. The staff, everyone gets the benefit of expanding the business. So yeah.
So is the saying true of, if you want to know who your real friends are,
Get pregnant.
or open a business? Do you agree with that?
1,000%. Yeah. I've lost a good amount of friends throughout the years due to the business, you know, because a lot of people don't understand what it is to be focused. A lot of people don't understand when you say you can't do something because you're busy. A lot of people don't see the same vision. And again, I mean, most of the time, you know, like when you're doing a business, you're broke. You don't have money to spend, go out to party and stuff. So most of the time you're already kind of like working 24/7. Some people don't understand that. Or another thing that I think is extremely important is like, if a friend of yours has a business, always try to do your best to support him. Doesn't have to be with like money. You can do certain things like their videos, recommend them to like other people that you can. And just, there's a bunch of different ways you can help your friends be successful. And that's kind of like one thing that I had to learn.
Yeah.
So,
I was going to ask, so I think another thing is also identify opportunities to work with your friends. I think that's something that you've done very well. Even friends from you guys.
yeah.
You've brought them into the gym. Like, how has that experience been?
I mean, I can tell you right now, not always does it work. I would say most times it never works because people want to get treated differently because they're your friend. And people have to understand that this is a professional setting. You always have to keep it professional no matter what. There's policies in place. There's things that need to get done. And people, when they're your friends, they tend to
Take advantage of it.
take advantage. Yeah. And
Yeah.
never, I mean, like it's worked in some cases, but not all the time.
So there was like a lot of disagreements. So like, what is one thing about your business that nobody agrees with you with that you do?
Damn, that's a hard question. There's a lot of things that people don't agree with me in our business. And of course, I would say that most of the things that we do them for a reason. Like we do our little research and we find why we do certain things. But one thing that a lot of people don't agree with me in business is reinvesting into your business. You always got to make sure you put money aside to reinvest into your business, no matter what it is. So, I mean, it's been a lot of years without me, making $1 off of the gym. Why? Because I was always putting money back into the gym. That's why we grow so much. That's why we're able to bring new equipment all the time. Because I'm not, like really paying myself. So it's kind of like you always got to, what's more important to you? A brand new car, brand new whatever you want to buy, or your business? So to me, it's always going to be my business because that's how our family, that's how our family eats. So it's kind of like that. I always put my business first because by doing that, I put my family first. So yeah, I always reinvest money back into the business, and a lot of people don't like doing that. A lot of people in business, like they
Greedy.
I would consider it greedy. You open up a business, and as soon as you get a little bit of money, you're spending it on yourself.
Yeah.
But there's also that aspect of like talk a little bit about why you're able to do that, why you were able to do that, right? It's not, obviously there's people that work in their business and they can't afford to not get paid. So what do you recommend for those people to do, or what did you do that worked for you? Was it always like that? Was it a period of time? Like, how do you make that determination in your business on when should I reinvest? When should I look at something else?
So, there's a lot of factors that play into that. Like a lot of things have to be right in order for you to be able to do that. It's not just as easy as saying, okay, I'm gonna put everything that I make back into the business. But at least in my experience, what I did is while I was doing the business, I was still in school. That's something that a lot of people don't know. I was still in school. I got 3 associate degrees and then a bachelor degree. I was going to do my master's, but I was like, it's either my master's or more gym. So I picked what I loved, right? But so I was still in school throughout the business, through the time that we were open, that we've been open. And then there was a point where I finally graduated, and I was like, okay, finally I have a degree, and I still have one business. But I guess what I want to get to is like I was able to set up the business in a way that it wasn't taking up too much time of my day to run it. It was only taking me a few hours out of the day to run the business because I had a strong team around me that was helping me like get through those things. So once I did that, once I found that power team that I needed to help me run the business, I decided that I wasn't gonna grow the business if I didn't have enough or more money to invest back into the business, right? So I was like, either I take those profits from the company to live my life, or I take those profits from the company to keep on growing it. So what I did is it's a long story, but I started working at a company for I don't know if whoever. The company is called Lockheed Martin, and they build like fighter jets and all these things for the military. So I started working there as a U.S. government contractor. So I was doing contracts with like
Damn.
yeah.
Sheesh.
A lot of people don't know this. I was
Say it
doing
louder for the people in the
U.S.
back.
government motherfucking contractor. Yeah, and I was doing contracts like actual real contracts
That's
with
another
like
job added to your list, man.
yeah, actually yeah, you're right.
Damn, Shotty.
Yeah,
That is your
that's
longest
21
streak.
jobs. Literally. So I was doing contracts, and I mean, it's not a contractor like you. They hire you for a job. Actual like legal contracts with like Greece, Israel, Taiwan, all these companies. I mean, all these countries. And so I was doing that, working for them. And while I was working for them, I was able to make my salary, I guess my living expenses. And then the business, I was literally every cent that came out of the business, I was just literally putting it right back.
And you never stop.
And
Like,
I never.
he's always putting stuff. Anything that anybody like DMs that they want, buys it right away, takes a screenshot. I already purchased this and this and that.
Literally.
So
Yeah.
that's actually like one of the, because I've never seen any other business invest back the way that you have.
And I'm actually like, sometimes I'm jealous in a way of other businesses when I go in and I see like they're extremely successful, like restaurants as an example, and the restaurant looks old, or like the things look old, and I'm like, God damn, how are these people so successful with such a successful? How are these people so successful with such a rundown business in terms of like the tools that they have to run that business? That's never something I want my members to say.
But I think that's what sets you apart, right? And I think that's one of the key things that have made your business work, right?
Yeah.
So is just the passion that you have for your business. And like we were talking about earlier, right? It's
100%.
It's about, if you don't have it, nobody else is going to have it. Nobody else. Even your closest circle, right? I mean, you have the closest people to us here in this table, and
Yeah.
I mean, it comes down from, like, as the head of the business, you have to make those decisions sometimes.
Absolutely. You have to. And it's not only equipment, it's like training for members. Like for employees, if you need to train your staff, you got to pay for it, invest back in your staff. If your staff needs better tools to sell whatever it is that you're selling, you need to invest back into that. So, you want to make it as easy for your staff as you can, so that they have all the tools available to make the sales that you need them to make. So I understood that from the very beginning, and I was like, I'm never gonna let my team down, and I'm never gonna let my members down. So I'm always gonna reinvest to make sure that they have everything they need.
Word.
Yeah.
Always.
That's real.
Nonstop.
I have another question. So I know
Another one.
So I know that we've been talking a lot about Mayhem Fitness, how it was Mayhem Fitness before, and then now it's RedSkull. And I know a lot of people have asked this question in social media. Even when you walk through the door, people kind of put you to the side and are like, hey, tell me the truth. Like, what happened? So I think it's time to address that.
Yeah.
What happened?
A lot of things. So, I guess the main thing that happened is Mayhem is such a cool name, right? Mayhem is like, I just love that name.
I still call it Mayhem sometimes.
Yeah. That's kind of like our OG name. And then the only issue with the name is that it's extremely hard to put it into a video, like murals and anything like that. Like visualize it, yeah.
I think the main thing that happened is, I guess step one was you were thinking of ways to grow the business beyond the memberships, right? Because you have a membership-based business, and that was going great. But you wanted more.
Exactly. So I wanted more, and I was like, okay, how do we put this name that we have into like murals for our business? How do we put this into clothing, apparel, merchandise?
You started branding the name.
And that's, there's a lot of things to business, a lot of little different things that you need to know, but that's when you get into the branding aspect. Like, do you want people to recognize you for the gym that's around the corner, or you want people to recognize you for your brand? And that's how people have to sometimes make that decision and understand how branding is so important, you know? So that's kind of like what led us to change the name, because we couldn't put Mayhem into like an actual logo, I guess. Like we couldn't give it a face, I guess, in other words. And a lot of people, our logo is literally a red skull, and a lot of people would call the gym like, oh, well, I go to the gym with a red skull and stuff. So I was like, okay. It took me literally, I don't know how long to come up with the name, but it was literally right there.
I want to tell everyone a funny story though. Max, share your story about your hand tattoo. Because you got it during that time, and you were gonna do something to that tattoo that later we're like, thank the skies and the clouds that it didn't happen.
So I don't know if everybody knows, but I do have a hand tattoo. It's a red skull, and I have what's it called? Acronym. We make shit happen. When I got the red skull on, it was probably like
a month.
Days. No. It was probably like days. Weeks or days before knowing that we had to change the name. So I went to go get the red skull, and I was like, I went with Ernesto, and I was like, hey, I'm just gonna put Mayhem. You know, like I'm set for life. Like not set for life, but like I'm in it for life. Like that's it. I was about to put Mayhem. He was like, nah, you know what? Think about it. Don't do it. Rethink your decisions before you do it. And I was like, okay, well, at least I'm going to get the red skull on my hand. So I got it. And probably like 2 days later, he's like, we need to change the name. I was like, what?
And we joked with him about we're going to change the logo too. And he was like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, I just got a tattoo.
It was a scary scenario. Not going to lie. I was pretty scared, but now it's all red skull everywhere.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. And the thing is that like this is a lot of people don't know this, but like in business, once you find out the name you want to put on your business, logos and stuff, you got to trademark everything. Copyright, make sure that the names are not taken by anybody else. And that's something that we kind of like learned along the way, but like everything's ours. Everything has to do with RedSkull. It's ours. We own the name, logos, everything. So we made sure we did everything correctly by the book, legally and stuff. So yeah, we thought it was going to be like extremely hard for us to transition over, but it was actually, it worked in our favor. It was really good that we rebranded to RedSkull, and I love the name even more now. So
can I put RedSkull now?
Yeah. And I'll put it too.
So going back in it, what's one thing your business did that you did not expect at all?
Definitely, I think one thing that the business did that I wasn't expecting is kind of like the becoming a brand, like I was saying earlier. Like we went from just being a gym around the corner to becoming this name that people recognize, you know. And we don't sometimes at least when we do merchandise, we don't put like our name all over and stuff. Sometimes we do, but like people kind of recognize the business with just the logo, just kind of like the skull. And that's something that I never was expecting. That to me seemed something that I was so far out, like kind of like Nike, you know. I guess you recognize the shoe that it's Nike because of the little check mark. Yeah. And now, I mean, it's not like I'm not comparing myself to them, but what I'm saying is like that's kind of like the same analogy. Some people recognize their logo and they already associate everything to the business. So that's kind of like something I was not expecting for the business to do, and it's crazy. It's getting, the word is going around about how we do business, how much people love our gyms, and it's something that gets me extremely excited. Yeah.
Well, it's definitely getting known by the logo for sure.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of people know the gym, and it's such a cool feeling to go to. I mean, sometimes I go to the store, like, I don't know, Walmart or whatever, and the gas station, and I run against. I mean, I see people that go to the gym, and it's kind of like, hey, they talk to me. We have a small conversation, and it's beautiful to feel that, because people don't really know me as a person, but they know the business behind us, and it's kind of like that's even more gratifying, because in a way they know me because of my job and because of all the hard work that I put in. So that's something that I can't be more thankful for.
Yeah, and even speaking of like the logo and stuff, there's always like, I'm out either going out to eat and stuff, and I see people wearing like our merch, like just to, not even just to work out, but to just wear it in general. So, you know, it kind of just spreads like the word around without even having to say anything, just by the merch.
Exactly. And like I said, that's definitely something I was not expecting the business to do. And now that it did, it's kind of like, it's just going to keep on getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's just no snowball effect. You can't stop it anymore. It's crazy. Yeah. So
I think another thing that had a similar effect is the social media page.
yes. So that's another thing. And of course, that's something that I got to give credit to Roman.
Roman.
Yeah. RO Visions, for anybody looking for any videos, he's the man you got to go with.
The man.
The one and only. The one and only. But yeah, he's the one that helped us go from literally running the page horribly to where we're at right now. Like, we're dropping a bunch of content in our social media pages, and it's kind of like, I was not expecting that at all. Even before, when I started the business, even Instagram, for those that don't know, if you have a business, you can't have it on private because people can't see what you're doing. So I had it on private.
The content, it was horrible.
It was
You
horrible.
can scroll back.
Yeah. I was just getting pictures
The
off
green edits
Those
were
were
something else.
whack.
literally the edits on the picture. It was just horrible, and that was all my fault. You
That's
can't
why I
blame
was
me
the one
for
taking
that.
the pictures.
Yeah, Max was taking the pictures, and I was editing them, and it was just not a good
It
combination.
was horrible. He would have made me take a good 80 pictures of one machine or of one person. I, first of all, hate technology. I can't deal with technology. And for him to be telling me, like, hey, send me a picture of this, I would send him a picture right away. And he would be like, no.
Yeah.
So it would take me probably
Max,
like an hour.
You would literally take a picture of a person and their left eye would show up.
I would think that would look good. Like, I was like, okay, well, maybe
Max
that's
was like,
a cool...
aesthetic.
Maybe I thought it was a cool effect, and you know, but definitely it was a big change. I remember when Roman came to us, he started off with some videos of a video game, which was crazy. You know, that's how we started off. When he would show me, like, hey, let me take some pictures for you. Like, here's a picture of a car. And I was like,
And I think we actually told Roman, like, no, twice or three times. Yeah, I don't remember how many times, and he just kept on asking. And I mean, I was like, yeah, you know what? Let's give him a shot, because I suck at this. So we did, and
the best
Till
one
death
in
do us
town.
part, Roman.
yeah, literally.
and you know, one thing I want to touch on too is when you're in business, think about how you can give back too, right? People are believing in you, so you believe in others as well.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's about establishing. Yeah, you lost a lot of friendships, right?
Definitely.
But you also make a lot of friendships in business,
Yeah.
and that's something really beautiful. It's awesome.
Yeah, and it's crazy to say, like, a lot of people say, like, oh, I can't wait to get out of work, and I want to get out of work because I want to go with my friends. My closest friends, which are literally my family, are directly in the business, and those who are not blood family, they're literally family to me, because I just love being around them, because we're so productive and we do so many things that I don't really have, friends outside of my job. You know, it's kind of like I do have a few friends, but it's kind of like this is my main inner circle.
We sound really antisocial.
I know.
Well,
But we're not.
But
yeah,
you have to, right?
be.
You have to. I think when you start a business, right? It's something that you have to be comfortable with, right?
Yeah.
It's not all rainbows and butterflies. Not everyone's gonna like you. Not everyone's gonna like what you post, right? Even we've had some content that people start to create this controversial stuff, and it's like, dude, stop.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah, there's a lot of, and that's, I mean, you have to have thick skin in business. There's gonna be times where people criticize your work, and you just have to
Ignore the haters.
Yeah, you have to ignore the bad, negative vibe and just
More than anything,
go
you have
with
to
you.
trust yourself. You
Yeah,
have to trust
yeah.
your gut, trust your team, and just keep going, right?
Exactly.
Like, one thing I always tell you is, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Even if you're going to have bad days in business. I mean, you were going to ask a question about challenges.
I did already.
Oh, okay. Well, pregnancy brain. Okay. I forgot what.
Okay, bye. So now that you've came all this way, there had to be like some bumps in the way, which of course, like at first starting, yeah. But what has been your recent like biggest failure?
There's so many. I mean, so many that people don't know, but like I would say one of the biggest failures for a long time, up to like not too long ago, was opening our second location. That was kind of like one of the biggest challenges we had, because we looked at so many potential properties.
How much time did you spend? Like,
Actually,
what was the whole process of opening your second location? How long did that take?
well, it took
8 years.
Well, I mean,
4
the whole
years.
process from day one to now, it took like 4 years, right? Like the whole process, the thought, like the planning and everything. But like I said, within those 4 years,
Some
Um,
planning.
some planning, not a lot, but like what I want to say is like a lot of properties would always say, no, they didn't really trust, I guess, our business. And a lot of people would, give us a lot of hope, or I guess a lot of landlords with properties give us a lot of hope, and then next thing you know, like they turn you down and stuff, or they give you all these crazy clauses in the contracts that you're like, there's no way I can sign my life away to you. You're literally, they're gonna kill you right away with your business. So it was a lot of headaches, not only with trying to open our second location as far as like the actual location, but financing with banks and finding the right power team to make the whole business to establish it.
We
So-
could have potentially opened the gym back in 2018, the second gym, but some unfortunate events happened. But now that I look back at it, I feel like we weren't ready for that. Like the responsibility that it took. Like right now, we're barely even starting to learn, or we kind of know already. But back then, we for sure weren't ready. So I think it was like a God signal, like you're not ready yet. You're not ready yet.
Yeah.
You're not ready yet, until this year was like the perfect.
Yeah.
And it
time.
sounds cliche, but it's true what they say. Everything happens for a reason, and everything has its timing.
Yeah, and one thing that I want to say to that is, now that I look back in time, I'm like, okay, like you mentioned, Michelle, like you did, Pam, like there's really no perfect timing, but there's going to be a time where you're going to look back in time and say, there was no way I could have done it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 years ago. There's no way, because you weren't ready either financially, you weren't ready mentally, you weren't ready with your processes within your business. There's a lot of things, but I'm a true believer that things happen for a reason, and I'm happy it happened now, and not like 4 or 5 years ago.
And it
So,
was
go ahead.
It was crazy that like we were so convinced back then. Every property we would see would be like, yeah, that's the one. That's the one. I remember we would all go and trips
And
at
sniff
night.
it out.
Yeah, literally, we would be at night, 12 a.m., looking like we're about
At
to
the
rob the
property.
place, measuring, like looking how big it is, trying to peek inside the doors and see what we can see. So many times, and all those times they told us no.
Yeah, and one thing, well, I keep on saying one thing, but another thing that I want to add to that is, literally in my team for us, like 4 years, we've been trying to open another location and it hasn't worked. To some people, if you're in business, that might seem like losing time or a waste of time. But in my experience, it's been a learning process. So all the time somebody said no, I learned from that experience. And then another landlord said blah 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 that I have this on this contract, and then that was another learning experience. Banks, another learning experience. So everybody's saying no. I guess it's not that they were trying to do anything bad to me, but I guess those people didn't really realize that what they were doing is they were just giving me more knowledge. Yeah. And to me, that was literally the perfect or the best thing they could have done, because I learned a whole bunch of things out of those no's. And thanks to that, whenever we open our second location.
Our third.
Yeah, but I was like 100% ready to, I knew exactly what we need. We know exactly what specs we need. We know exactly what a contract should have, measurements, everything. There's so many things to a business that, man, I just didn't know. Like engineering plans, permits, capacity. There's so many things to it. And of course, every business is different, but it's just a learning experience. And I'm so glad we know all that.
And let me ask you, like, all these no's that they've been telling you in the past and up to right now, all the no's that you get, does it discourage you, or like, does it make you not want to do it anymore?
I just fuels the fire. Like I said, I have a fire inside of me that I don't know how to put it out. It's crazy. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and I'm afraid it's just gonna take over everything. I'm afraid it's gonna take
fire extinguishers.
Yeah, I'm afraid it's gonna take over everything. Literally, it's insane what I feel inside, and I know you guys. I think we share the same passion for the business.
I have the logo tatted on me. So.
Yeah,
exactly.
There's no way you can get out anymore. Yeah,
Max can't say no.
I can't say no.
He would have to cut off his hand.
and yeah, like there's no way out of this, and that fire is just insane. I've never been so happy in my life. Never been so motivated. Never felt so capable of doing stuff. Literally, I feel on top of the world right now, and nothing's gonna stop me, and just it's gonna keep on coming.
So when it comes to opening a second location, let's flip the desk. When it comes to opening your second location, I think I agree with you that has been the biggest challenge. Like, it was so frustrating every no. Like, I remember the deal before this one. Do you remember we hugged on the floor, we cried, and we said, "Are we in this together? Like,
That's corny.
Are we?" No, I'm serious. We were literally crisscross applesauce on the floor and saying, "Are we ready to do this?" Yeah. We cried. It's so scary. Like, I think you have so much motivation. You have so much fire in you that you're putting that across, but it's terrifying. It's terrifying to make that commitment. It's terrifying because it's contract based, right? And there's so many things on the line. Literally, for everyone that's opening businesses, you guys are doing amazing things because it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. So when it comes to transitioning from one location to another, what are the 2 tips that you would give people? Right, specific to that, like, what are the things that you have learned now when it comes to negotiating those contracts and looking for a second retail space, all of that? What are the 2 things that you would give advice to people?
Don't paint the roof.
The ceiling. Yeah. God damn.
I think that's the biggest tip we can give.
Literally. Don't do things you don't know how to do.
Yeah.
But no, I guess
true.
Yeah. Well. That is actually true. So I guess the two things that I would say to somebody trying to, open their next location is it is extremely important that you have a process for everything that you have in your current business. Opening your first business, in my opinion, personal opinion, it's easier than opening your second. Why? Because maybe your first one was a lucky hitter. You never know. Maybe you opened it and it worked out for you, but maybe the second one isn't. And in order for you to be ready for that, all your processes have to be in place. Like, there's so many processes that you have to have within your business. And most importantly, I guess that would be the first thing. Make sure your processes are correct.
And they're able to be replicated.
Exactly. Easily. Don't try to make a process that's extremely hard for the next facility to take on. Always try to simplify things. And again, it sounds cliche, but simple is better. Like, the simpler you make it, the better it is going to be for you and your team.
Period.
And the second thing is, don't be afraid to ask questions. Literally, I call probably every landlord in town probably already knows me, because I'm always calling them, asking them all these questions. And hey, at the end of the day, they're gonna take my money. So might as well pick their brain and take a little bit of their knowledge, right? So I've been calling all these people, trying to get all these things to figure it out. And even before making the next move, I was always asking questions. Banks, landlords. So ask a lot of questions. Don't be afraid to go out and talk to people. Talk to landlords, meet with them. Hey, I don't have the money. Well, act like you do. Act like you're bro, you gotta act like you're
come in looking like Flavor Flav.
Walk inside of that building like you're gonna buy it. That's literally
Roman is shook.
Roman's like, bye.
That's literally the confidence you need to have. So that's the second tip. And I got one more. So the first one is three. The first one is processes. Make sure they're in place and easily be able to be replicated for the second one or third or fourth. Second tip is confidence. Ask questions. Learn from your mistakes so that you have the confidence to talk to like I said, this, I guess, second location, we had gone through like a list of like 20 landlords. It was easy for me to make a conversation. I didn't care anymore. I was ready. I was confident. So like I said, I walked into this building like I was going to buy it. So
and
confident,
and
I did.
Well, you didn't buy it, but you rented it.
Almost. Two. And the third thing is third parties. Third-party companies. A lot of people don't understand how important this is. A lot of people say, don't hire third-party companies because you're just paying another company when you can do it yourself. Like I told you guys since the beginning, I'm no expert in nothing. I'm just confident. And I don't know how that got me through everything, but I'm not an expert in accounting. So I have an accounting team. It's a third party and it's a full group, and that's my accounting team. I have an HR team, and that's a third party as well. We have a supplier for cleaning. That's a third party. We have a supplier for like collection. So we have third parties literally for everything. And I realized that I wasn't an expert on everything. And I needed to give that specific task to somebody that was an expert on that field. Even if you think you're hiring somebody that's an expert on that field, let's say an accountant. Oh, well, I'm going to hire an accountant to do my taxes. You don't know how much that person is evolving throughout the years. And definitely you don't have the skills to show them more things. So when you hire a company, they're in charge of doing that. They're in charge of developing their own staff, and they always stay on top of everything because they're experts on that. So third parties are something extremely helpful for business and for any business. And I recommend you guys explore that because it's been literally headaches. Even lawyers, like third party lawyers, you have lawyers, any questions, you ask your lawyer. That's it. Simple as that. You don't worry about it.
Especially, yep. I think when it comes to working with a landlord to open, what they're going to do is they're going to send you a contract, right? Remember we were reading those, and you have no idea what you're like. It's remember like
and I'm
hours reading this legal document. You pretend that you know what you're reading. By the third page, I was already cross-eyed. I was
and
no,
granted, I work in legal contracts for the government, and I was like, okay, I'm pretty good at this. I know what I'm doing. I don't need a lawyer, but once you send it to a lawyer, you see all these red lines, and you're like, damn, I really don't know anything.
And like that, like they turn around.
Literally,
they turn it around in a day, right? Where that would be my biggest tip is when it comes to working with the landlords, they're going to send you a contract. Find a good lawyer that works in the real estate area, right? And have them review it. There's online lawyers now. What's the website? LegalZoom.
Yeah,
this is not sponsored by LegalZoom, but they have LegalZoom. You can Google them. There is third parties out there, but specific to second locations, have somebody else review the contract, right?
Yeah. What's going to be working for your first location is not always going to work for second, third, or fourth. So always make sure that's taken care of, because once you're tied into a contract, it's not fun to get out of them. So make sure that's covered. So yeah, those are my 3 biggest tips that I would give to somebody starting out. And of course, all these things take money, right? So you're gonna know when you're at that point where you can hire those third parties or do the things that I'm.
So with all this business knowledge that you have already, what is like the biggest success myth that you come to hate?
There's one that I really, really hate. And I feel like how they say like the hardest worker in the room takes the cake. That's false. It's not the hardest worker in the room that takes everything. It's the most capable, knowledgeable person that's going to be ahead all the time. So the more prepared you are with like the things you know, the easier it's going to be for you. Because you stay at your business from 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. doesn't mean the next day you're going to make more money.
Yeah.
It can make a difference, of course. And it did for us because we did that for a long time, right? But then we started realizing that it wasn't man hours that we needed. It was knowledge that we needed. And that's the main reason why we got some of the third companies. That was like, they helped us be better. And it's like, we need to learn how to do X. And then we learned that. And it was the actual man hours that we were doing. It wasn't making us more money. Mm-hmm. But knowledge was making us more money. Yeah. So that's kind of one of the biggest myths is like, I hate when people say, "Oh, you gotta work hard. You gotta work smarter." That's what you need to do. Yeah.
So, it's called talking about the third parties. When we would try to put our own cameras up and stuff like that, it was extremely hard. So that's why hiring third party companies would save you a lot of time. We would stay probably from like 8 a.m. to a good 7 p.m. installing one camera.
Yeah, not knowing how to.
Do you guys remember during Christmas?
The remodeling.
We remodeled the first gym. And we were installing you guys were installing all the cameras. I was standing there looking at the cables, but we spent in the entire Christmas Eve, literally all day, trying to install one camera.
Yeah.
At the end, we didn't even know what we were doing. In the end, we were all there. We connected it, and it didn't work. Yeah. Like, I think that was one of my biggest disappointments because we spent all Christmas there, right? Yeah, and it was a waste of time. And it's like, why do we keep doing this to ourselves, right? Like, it was fun. It's funny now thinking back at it, but I remember that day, I think I even cried. I was like, I just want to go home. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Let's just hire somebody. And then it's that aspect of, who do you hire?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And it goes back to asking questions. Who do you hire? Well, there's sometimes things come up and you don't even know who to hire. Like, it's crazy. You don't know who to hire. So, again, I understand when if you're starting out a business and you don't have the funds to do X, Y, Z, it's gonna take you doing the stuff. You're gonna have to do it no matter what.
So go for it.
No, I was just like, you're gonna have to do it.
Learn the hard way.
Yeah, learn the hard way, and then find the people. Again, power teams I can't express enough how important it is to have a power team. And what I mean by that is, always have somebody that can help you in a certain aspect of your business, whether it's installing a camera, whether it's putting up a wall, painting, even asking questions, legal questions, advertising, like everything. You have to have a power team.
So moving on from that, what would be your biggest humbling experience so far?
I would say there's a lot of humbling experiences that I've had, but I think, not to be too specific, but I guess going to like seminars or places where there's a lot of people that do the same thing that you do. I would recommend for anybody, it doesn't matter if you have a business or not. Like, if you feel like you're an expert on a certain field, try to go to a convention, try to go to a seminar where the the room is full of people that do the same thing that you do. And then once you're there, you're going to realize real quick that if you think you're a badass, if you think you're doing all these sales, you think you're moving quick, you're going to meet somebody doing it 10 times as much as you're doing it. So it's kind of like, that's been some of my, I guess, most humbling experiences that have really, I guess, hit me and made me realize and really analyze a little bit is I've met people that have literally like 70 businesses, literally like, I mean, I'm exaggerating, but like a bunch of businesses at once, you know? And when I'm running fast, they're just literally flying. And that's when you realize you're not doing enough. You have to do more, and it's never enough. You always have to do more. You always have to go the extra mile. And when you feel like you're doing too much, like I said, meet people and try to find people that are doing 20, 30 times much more than you are, and that'll humble you pretty quick.
It made me think of the phrase where they say of if you're in a room and you're the smartest person in that room, you're in the wrong room. You're in the wrong room.
Literally, yeah.
Right? So I think that's what you're talking about is you experience that firsthand and realize. So how has that made you think differently? Did that shape you in any way?
Yeah, I mean, it literally has made me realize that what we're currently doing is just kind of like literally the tip of the iceberg. There's so many things people as business owners can explore, can do for their business. And this is not just opening more locations. This can be within your own business. Like if you can't expand to another one, you should still go to a place where you see other people doing the same thing you're doing, and you're going to see processes that they're doing that are like out of this world, and you're going to be like, God damn, I didn't know this existed. I didn't know people could do this much. I didn't know I could save more, like a lot more time by doing what you're doing than what I currently do. So that's kind of like one humbling, again, a pretty good humbling experience that has, I guess, motivated me to do more. Just do more and realize that I'm not doing enough, and I'm just gonna keep on pushing till I.
So with that being said, what's next for you? Do you have another project going on?
So we do have different projects going on. There's some that I can't disclose, but I guess I would say like kind of like the one that I can disclose is our supplement brand. We're working on a supplement brand. That one should be out pretty soon. I would say within the next couple of months, which is extremely exciting. But we've been trying to do this for a while, for a few years too. So that's one project that we're working on. Another project that we're working on is we're opening another location. Like I said, right now we're in this kind of like rhythm where we're trying to open locations within months, not really years or like 3-4 years. Like I said, it's just gonna keep on growing. The business it's going amazing, and we're gonna open a gym pretty soon. So that's kind of like the next project. But I can already see like a lot of gyms ahead. I can already see that in my mind, and that's something that I want to tell everybody. Like, even if you have projects that you're planning, right, that you have in your mind, it's extremely important that you visualize yourself, that you see ahead, and that you actually push yourself to do those things, and always have a vision. Always have a vision. Just don't dream too much, because you might you might catch yourself sleeping if you dream too much. Don't do that. You need to make sure that if you have a dream, you execute.
You need to make shit happen.
You need to make shit happen, because you don't want to be dreaming too long and find yourself literally find yourself in a coma. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of coma.
In a cama.
But yeah, those are some of the biggest projects we have going on, and the other location is one of the biggest ones right now. Well, there's another one that I can't disclose, but yeah.
Stay tuned though.
Yeah, stay tuned. And of course, the We Make Shit Happen project, the We Make Shit Happen podcast.
Say,
yeah, like this is the other project that we're working on. And I'm extremely excited. We're gonna bring a lot of interesting people to this podcast, and it's about networking, knowledge, and seeing how other people are making shit happen. And that's exactly what I need sometimes. Like I said, you want to sit with some people that are like doing crazy stuff, and you're like, holy shit, I'm not doing anything compared to what you're doing. So I need to do more. I want to learn from you, and you just gotta always be a student of the people around you. And if you're not a student and you're literally the professor of everybody, you're like Pam said, you're in the wrong room. So
Damn.
look for those people that can teach you something every day, even to be a better person. You gotta have different people in your life. Literally.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It is. It's a perfect way to
Perfect way to end it. It's a long one, but it's our first one. Again, first of many. I'm so excited to again start this project, and just want to say subscribe to our social media: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, to our newsletter on our website, and of course Spotify. You can find us there. Subscribe so you can hear the full episodes. And yeah, I mean, if you literally want to learn how to make shit happen from somebody that started from nothing, we're going to have a lot of people like that in this podcast that could make your dream come true just by literally listening in and understanding that everything's possible as long as you want it. So make sure you share the podcast. Tell your friends about it. You better tune in if you want to make shit happen. So see you on the next one. Thank you, everyone.
Niggas is different now. I was down then, but that's all in the past tense. So I can't stop shit till I'm top 10. And I'm not 10. I'm so in love with the process. Not all in the day, but it took them some time to build Rome. I just copped the crib, never home. No, I can't keep a charge on the phone. So she thinks she in love with a ghost.